なんか学ぶ
あ、こんにちは。聞こえますかね。
聞こえます。
めちゃくちゃ聞こえます。ありがとうございます。どうぞ。えーと、あれ、RSGT ってなんか、画面の背景とかあるんでしたっけ？ズームの。特にないですか？お、あれか。
何か試したいことあります？
試したいことは、一旦大丈夫です。うーんと、ルーム B 会場風景ですよね。これか。確かに結構見えます。
一応マイクつないでますけど、
はい。
さっきの拍手が聞こえていれば、それぐらいの音量になるって感じです。
なるほど。ありがとうございます。
はい。
なんかあとは共有するだけのような気もするので、そしたら
はい。
一旦大丈夫です。ありがとうございます。多分、
じゃあ、そんな感じで、
はい。
一時お待ちしてます。
はい、ありがとうございます。
いろんな人が これは今、そこまで。
そろそろ画面共有しちゃいますね。そうなんですよ、小笠原さん、オンライン登壇。ちょっと、あれで切り替えました。家庭の事情で。ありがとうございます。てか、よ。すごい。ワイワイがめちゃくちゃ。松下さん、これ今切り替えとか簡単に試しても大丈夫ですか？
大丈夫ですよ。
おーい。これ今切り替わってます？
切り替わりました。
大丈夫でした。よかったです。大丈夫かな。ほい
13時になったので、
本当だ。
始めちゃってください。
はーい。3時、ちょっと待ってください。ごめんなさい。すごい油断してました。ちょっとだけ。これで大丈夫かな。ほい。じゃあ、やってこと思います。よろしくお願いします。今日もこの RSCT っていう場が、コミュニティの一つだと思うんですけど、本当に自分自身コミュニティがすごい大好きで、っていうのもやっぱりすごい素敵な方々とですね、一緒につながりを持てて、一緒に時間を過ごせて、学びとかを共有できるっていうのがすごい好きで、ここ2年間ずっとコミュニティとかに参加してきました。で、最初スクラムデベロッパーズナイトってところから参加だったんですけど、なんか徐々に増えてって、で、タイトルにもあるんですけど、合計すると224個、25ヶ月ぐらいで参加してきました。で、今日はなんかそんなコミュニティがすごい大好きな自分が、コミュニティが出してるっていうふうに感じる価値の話とか、なんかそういう価値を生み出すコミュニティに備わってる要素とか、なんかそういう要素ってどういうふうに育めるのかみたいな話をしていければいいなと思ってます。よろしくお願いします。で、前振りはこんな感じで、自己紹介なんですけど、アキウムと言います。イノシシマークがなんか多分トレンドシンボルだと思ってて、で、チームは今月から47期間というところに所属してます。で、趣味もコミュニティに関するものなんですけど、ちょっとコミュニティってもうこの後もたくさん話すと思うので、ここは飛ばします。で、最初にこの発表におけるコミュニティの定義みたいな話をしたいなっていうふうに思ってて、っていうのもですね、なんか学術的に何かしら定義したいっていうよりも、どちらかというと、その自分が見てきたコミュニティと、皆さんの多分考えるコミュニティって結構もしかしたらずれることもあるかなと思ったので、ちょっと最初にそういうコンテキストに合わせるみたいな目的もあって、定義の話をできればいいなと思ってました。結構コミュニティって、こういうカンファレンスみたいなコミュニティもあれば、チームももしかしたらコミュニティって考える人もいるかもしれないし、家族とかもコミュニティって考える人がいるかもしれないんですけど、今回自分がこの224個のコミュニティを見てきて思ったのは、ちょっとなんかそういうのとは違うので、一旦自分なりの定義で別にこれが全然正確な、なんか学術的な何かに基づいているとかではないんですけど、こういうふうなものをこの発表ではコミュニティとしますよっていう定義を持ってきました。普通に読んじゃうんですけど、この発表におけるコミュニティの定義っていうのは、複数名で構成されるグループで、 で、こうグループのメンバーっていうのは4つの特徴を持ってますと。で、普段はこう長い時間、一緒に過ごすことがなくて、で、あとは共通の関心を対象を持ってて、で、こうメンバーっていうのは動的に変わりますと。で、あと年齢とか性別とか国籍が多種多様ですと。こういうのは今回の発表ではコミュニティというふうにしてお話しできればと思います。で、最初にじゃあコミュニティが生み出す価値っていうところをお話しできればと思うんですけど、一つ目は知識の発達っていうのがあるかなと思ってて、知識の性質みたいなところを森さんという方がまとめてくれてるんですけど、そこで知識の性質2つあるってあって、最初の知識みんなが知れば知るほど効果があるっていうところがありますと。で、これがなんかすごいコミュニティと相性がいいっていうふうに自分は思ってて、やっぱり年齢とか性別とか国籍が多種多様なみんなが集まるからこそ、知識っていう財みたいなものをみんなが豊かに使えるっていうのがコミュニティの価値の一つ目なのかなというふうに思ってます。で、次が、エネルギーの浸透っていうふうに書いたんですけど、ちょっとさっき冒頭でも話したんですけど、自分って別にコミュニティに入る前、コミュニティがもともと好きだったわけじゃ当然ないですし、勉強とかソフトウェア開発みたいなところも全然正直好きじゃなくて、仕事だからやってるっていうような感じをずっと3年とか4年とか繰り返したんですけど、こういうコミュニティに入って、そういう熱量を持った方とか、そういうソフトウェアの工学の歴史を作るみたいなお話を聞いて、すごくなんかそういうのに心から打たれましたし、なんかそういう人たちのエネルギーみたいなのが、なんか知らず知らずに自分の中にも浸透してて、なんか別に小さい時から、なんかすごい努力するとかそういう感じではなかったんですけど、なんか唯一社会人になってからは、こういう勉強とかは、なんか自然と、これも楽しく努力できるようになったなと思ってて、これってそういうコミュニティの皆さんが、エネルギーをくれてるっていうのが、今コメントにもエネルギーをもらえるってあったんですけど、あるのかなというふうに自分自身思ってます。で、あと他にも、いろいろあるんですけど、ちょっと簡単に、これは自分がっていうよりも言われてることっていうような紹介になります。生物学とかだと、普通に生存能力がそもそもコミュニティがあると高まるみたいな話があったりとか、あと文化人類学とか社会学とかだと、個々人のアイデンティティっていうのはコミュニティによって形成されるみたいなお話だったりとか、あと対人関係能力の基礎的な部分っていうのもコミュニティで身につくみたいな話があったりします。で、あと経営学みたいなところだと、その企業のコミュニティっていうコンテキストだとおそらく思うんですけど、離職率が低下したりとか、社員のエンゲージメントの向上とか、そういうのがコミュニティの効果としてあるっていうふうに言われてます。で、じゃあなんかそういう価値を生み出すコミュニティってどういう要素があるのかっていうところなんですけど、やっぱり間違いないなと思ってるのは、人っていうのはまず間違いないと思ってて、人がいるからこそ、その知識みたいなのが発達しますし、それさっき言ったエネルギーの浸透みたいなのも起こるのかなと思います。なんでちょっと最初にその人にフォーカスした要素っていうところを3つご紹介できればいいなと思います。まず、継続的な運営をするための仕組みっていうのを挙げたんですけど、自分自身、コミュニティに参加してて、なんかどんな感じで人数増えてるのかなって結構気になって、1年半とか2年前ぐらいから取ってたんですけど、やっぱり、だからどっかでガタンと増えるっていうよりは、もちろん完全な線形ではないんですけど、徐々に増えてるっていうのがあって、で、コミュニティって結構その中長期的に運営することで、やっぱりそういう人とか知識が含まれるって性質があるので、やっぱりそれを低コストで行うための取り組みとか仕組みが必要なのかなと思ってて、具体的には明日とかもちょうどあるんですけど、その OST をやるとか、OST ってその場で準備をして、みんなで何をやるか決めて、で、その後の時間をやるみたいなのがあるので、やっぱりなんかそういうふうに、特に準備とかはいらなくて、そういう低コストで運営し続ける仕組みっていうのが大事なのかなと思ってます。で、あとは、コミュニティの参加の度合いっていうのが、コミュニティオブプラクティスっていう本で紹介されてるんですけど、結構皆さんの感覚とも近いのかなと思うんですけど、どんなコミュニティも結構そのコアな人たちっていうのがいて、で、それはなんかその影響力っていうよりも、どちらかというと参加頻度がすごい熱心な人たちがいて、で、たまに参加するよ、時間があれば参加するよって人がいて、で、なんかすごい面白そうだったら来るけど、基本はしないよって人がいて、で、あとはもうそれを、コミュニティは知ってるんだけど参加はしないよっていう外の人がいるみたいな。こういうのがなんか結構コミュニティの構造としてあるかなと思うんですけど、やっぱりなんかその人によってやっぱりコミュニティに求めるものも、その生活リズムとかそもそも全然違うので、やっぱりコミュニティに求める条件っていうのがバラバラになるっていうのを考えると、なんかそういういろいろな条件の人でも参加できるようなっていうのは結構コミュニティっていうのは結構大事かなと思ってて、 まあ、例えば時間帯を毎回同じ時間なんじゃなくて、バラすとか、曜日とかをバラすとかもそうですし、なんかその参加スタイルみたいなのでも、結構ロム線の人みたいなのが、いてもいいですし、逆にこう、どんどんコメントする人とかがいても、なんかいいのかなと思ってます。で、あとはもう一個大事な要素として、思いやりっていうのを挙げてるんですけど、ちょっとなんかいきなり主語を大きくするんですけど、生物って思いやりがすごいこう強く感じられる場所、あと共感とかもあるんですけど、そういう場所にこう積極的な貢献をするって話があって、人ももちろんなんですけど、チンパンジーとかアリとか、そういうのも全部、その思いやりがない人っていうのが結構こう淘汰されるみたいなことが最近分かってて、で、それと同じで、なんでコミュニティでも結構その思いやりがあるコミュニティとないコミュニティだと、その人の関わり方とか、積極的に貢献してくれるかどうかっていうのも変わってくるのかなと思います。でもちょっといきなりなんか生物的にとか言われてもっていうのはあると思うんですけど、自分自身こう最初に参加したときに、全然コミュニティ、最初参加したコミュニティ、そのさっき言ったスクラムデベロッパーズナイトってところは、なんか全然別に利害関係もなかったですし、知り合いもいないんですけど、なんか最初の方から結構なんかもし困ったことが今後あったら、なんか定期的に声かけてくれていいよみたいな話をいきなりしてもらったりとか、あとその後参加したコミュニティとかでも、なんかこういう風になりたいとか、こういう風に仕事でしたいんですよねって言ったら、なんかそういうのをすごい一個一個の夢を尊重するし、どんな決断をしても自分たち応援するよって言ってもらえて、なんか自分自身すごくそういう心というかそういうセリフが一個一個心に残ってて、でなんか自分自身ももしなんかそういう困ってる人たちがいたら、なんかなんていうんですかね、リターンみたいなそういうのを一切考えずに、なんか助けられればいいなっていうふうに自然とコミュニティの中だと特に思えるようになったみたいな話があって、やっぱりなんかそういう思いやりもある意味浸透していくのかなっていうところもあって、やっぱりこれも結構大事な要素なのかなっていうふうに思ってます。で、あと、そういう人以外の要素のところもお話しできればと思うんですけど、やっぱりそのいい人がある意味こう集まっても、なかなかその知識の発達っていう意味だと、全員が初心者でも、もちろん、そういういい人がいれば、どんどん発達していくっていうのは間違いなくあると思うんですけど、よりその知識が発達しやすいコミュニティと、そうじゃないコミュニティの違いみたいなところをこう見てきて、どういうところが、要素としてあるのかなっていうのを次、2つご紹介できればと思います。で、まず、コミュニティのこの学びとか体験のシェアっていうのを挙げたんですけど、結構そのコミュニティ、自分結構すごい参加してますみたいに言ったんですけど、多分結構レアだと思ってて、それも自分自身も多分この後その生活のプライベートの問題とかで、きっとなんか参加できなくなるタイミングとかも訪れるかなと思いますし、気分的にもその普通になんかもう、結構最近参加してきて、そんなに刺激もないしいいかなって思うタイミングって絶対訪れるかなと思ってて、で、そういうのを訪れるのは自然なことだと思うんですけど、一回訪れると、もう一回こう距離を置いちゃうと、なかなかこう戻りにくくなるっていうのもあるなと思ってて、で、これでも自体もすごい自然なことだと思ってて、なんかだんだん様子がわからなくなってくるんで、なんかもう自分がいなくても、なんか普通に成り立ってるなとか、なんか別に、もうちょっと今更参加しても雰囲気も違いそうだし、ちょっと怖いなとか、そういう気持ちになるかなと思ってます。でも、なんかこういう学びや体験みたいなのが、こう、ツイッターとかでも全然いいんですけど、ツイッターの例えばその1ツイートとかでもいいんですけど、シェアされてると、一回参加したことがあれば、その雰囲気とかはある程度分かってるので、なんかこういう雰囲気で最近はこういう話してるんだ、みたいなのが、自分の中でこう、蘇ってきて、別に参加はしてなくても、なんとなくこう、まだコミュニティの一員でいられるみたいな感覚とかが得られると思ってて、なんでこういう学びとか体験のシェアみたいなのがあると、すごく、コミュニティが知識が発達するみたいな要素だったりとか、あとはその離脱しにくくなるみたいな要素として、すごい重要なのかなというふうに思っています。で、ちょっと今結構感覚的なところも中心に話したんですけど、実際にこう、いろいろやっぱ224個コミュニティを見てくると、結構もうなくなっちゃったコミュニティとか、なくなってはないのかもしれないんですけど、1年以上こうイベントがないコミュニティとか、そういうのも結構、多く見かけはするんですけど、そういうコミュニティを見てみると、こう9割以上は、やっぱなんかこう学びのシェアみたいなのがなくて、こうやっぱ参加した人はわかるんだけど、参加しなかった人はなんかあんま様子わかんないみたいなところがあって、ブログとかありがとうございます。で、なんで、結構やっぱ、シェアとかがこう適金されてないと、なかなかこう、外部からも閉じられてるっていうのはもちろんありますし、こう一度参加、やめちゃうとなかなか参加できないみたいなのがあるので、やっぱりこういうシェアが大切なのかなっていうのと、逆に、こう、ずっと長くやってるコミュニティだと、別に誰かが強制してるとかは全然ないんですけど、7割以上はこう、誰かしらが その今ブログって言ってくれたんですけど、自分とかもこうブログで何かしらこう残したりとかしてて、学びのシェアがされてるなっていうのを感じています。シェアの第一人者。はい、ありがとうございます。で、あと次が緩やかなヒエラルキーっていうのを挙げたんですけど、結構ヒエラルキーとか言うと、ちょっとなんかドキッとするというか、なんかそういうのあんまない方がいいって思う人も多いのかなって勝手に思うんですけど、結構学習っていう面においては、自分よりちょっと上のレベルっていうか、自分よりちょっと詳しい人とかの存在ってすごく大切だと思ってて、最近エンジニアリングマネージャーの仕事とかの本でも、発達の再近接領域とかお話ありましたけど、結構、自分自身ができないことの中にも、自分自身もこう誰かと一緒にやればできることみたいなのがあるはずで、なんかそこをやってくれる人って、もちろんなんかすごい上級者でもいいんですけど、多分よりその自分のコンテキストに近いとか、自分のレベルに近い人がちょっと上のレベルをこう一緒にやってくれるみたいなのを体験することによって、どんどんどんどん学びにもなりますし、で、逆になんかこういう、その初心者ならではの学びじゃないですけど、なんかそのみんなが持ってた固定観念がこう覆るような瞬間みたいなのもあったりするので、なんかそういうこう緩やかになんとなく自分よりちょっと上の人がいるみたいな、すごい多種多様なレベルの人がいるみたいなコミュニティっていうのは結構速いスピードで知識とかをこう発展していくなというイメージを持ってます。で、一応なんかここにいる皆さんは大丈夫かなと思ったんですけど、一応簡単に補足だけ一応しておくと、ヒエラルキーがこう、上のから偉いとか、なんかそういう人、下の人は偉くないとか、そういう話では全然なくて、やっぱり今さっきも言ったんですけど、下の人がこう固定観念を覆すみたいなのもありますし、こう上の人がこう教えてるうちに学ぶことも多いみたいなのも、結構よく聞く話だと思うので、決してこうヒエラルキーが上のお手本になる人が偉いわけじゃないですよ、みたいな話を、はい、しておきます。そうですね。建設的相互作用の話をまさに、はい、意識してます。で、あとは次、コミュニティの不吉な匂いみたいなところをお話しできればなと思ってて、なんでこんな話するかっていうと、やっぱり要素を育んでるって言っても、なかなかその今話したのって定量的なものって結構少ないと思うので、なんかうまく育めてるのかなってわからなくて、で、なんかやれてるつもりでも自然とやれてないみたいなことがあると思ってて、で、そういう時になんかこういう不吉な匂いじゃないですけど、こういうのになったらちょっとまずいなっていうのを、ここで今日挙げるのは全部実際こう解散する前のコミュニティの様子として自分が見てきて、なんかやばそうだなって思った時に感じたことなんですけど、そういうのを知っておくと、結構実際に具体的にじゃあそういう状況になったら何かしら手を打とうとか、そういうアクションができるかなと思って、不吉な匂いってことで3つご紹介できればと思います。1個目が過剰な構造主義って書いたんですけど、なんか結構運営者とか、極端な話ですけど、運営者、登壇者、参加者みたいな形でしっかり分けて、別になんか一定分けた上で、でもみんな楽しむのは一緒だよねとか、そういうんだったら全然いいと思うんですけど、参加者しかこういうことはできませんとか、運営の人しかこういうのはできませんみたいなのを、かなりこうガチガチに作っちゃうと、結構、一部の参加者みたいなのがこう萎縮しちゃったりとか、あとさっき言ったヒエラルキーみたいなのが固定化されちゃって、なんか誰かが偉いみたいな形になりがちなので、なんかそういう構造にならないように、崩したりとか、あと意図的になんかそういう定義緩めるって書いたんですけど、なんか初心者のように見えた上級者が例えばいるとか、なんか運営しながら参加している人もいるとか、なんかそういうのが結構大事になってくるのかなと思います。で、あとフリーライダーって書いたんですけど、結構意図的にそういう貢献をもうしない、なんかただろうにしようみたいなことを意識的に思ってる人が蔓延しちゃうっていうのは結構危ないって言われてて、で、これはなんか結構いくつもそういう自分より前の世代の人たちも、そのコミュニティが解散する前の特徴みたいなので、社会学とかを中心に、フリーライダーが蔓延すると、もうそのコミュニティ危ないみたいな言ってて、で、なんでこれがもう起きたら結構危ない状況であるのは間違いないんですけど、一つあるなと思うのは、結構そのフリーライダーが蔓延してると思ってるけど、実は別になんかフリーライダーじゃなくて、なんか単純に貢献の仕方が分かんなくて、ちょっとそのコメント書くだけでも立派な貢献だと思うんですけど、そういうのが貢献だと思えてないとか、あとはなんかよくありがちだったのが、運営の方みたいなのがいて、なんかその人たちがすごいこうガチガチに準備をしてくれてるんで、なんか参加者がなんかこう貢献しようと思っても、運営の方がもう全部準備してくれてるんで、やることがないみたいな、そういうのもよくあるなと思ってて、なんかそういう状態になってくると、なんか別にフリーライダーが蔓延してるわけじゃないんですけど、フリーライダーが蔓延してるような空気感になっちゃって、解散するみたいなのが結構いくつかあったので、こういうのも結構不吉な匂いかなというので挙げておきました。 で、最後が依存なんですけど、特定の個人の発言がなんかもう絶対的なものになっちゃうとか、特定のメンバーがいないとコミュニティが開かれなくなっちゃうとか、そういう誰かに依存している状態、これなんか別にコミュニティだけじゃなくても、そのチームとかでも危ないって言われやすいと思うんですけど、こういう状態になっちゃうと、結構その人が熱が冷めちゃうと、一気にコミュニティが解散するみたいなのは、何回も見てきたので、一つ不吉な匂いとして挙げました。で、こういう時なんかこう匿名で会話できる仕組みとか、そのなんか人によらず、なんか誰でもオープンに会話できる仕組みとかこう用意しとくとか、あとなんかそういう人はなんかアジェンダは考えるんだけど、進行は別の人がやるとか、なんかそんな感じでこううまくばらせるといいのかなというふうに思ってます。で、最後にコミュニティの発展段階っていうのを紹介しようと思ってて、で、まず一つこの紹介する目的としては、こういうものがあるっていうのを知ることで、なんか自分がなんとなく今の時期にこういう時期だからこういうことをしようっていうのが分かればいいなっていうのがあるんですけど、これもコミュニティオブプラクティスって本の中で、こう潜在、結託、成熟、維持、向上、変容っていう過程が言われてて、なんか、こういう段階ごとに何をしたらいいかっていう話が書いてありますと。で、もちろん、そのあたりは、ただ本に詳しく書いてあるので、自分もなんとなくこの潜在とか結託の時のコミュニティの様子とか、逆にこう成熟しているコミュニティの様子とか、いろいろ見てきたので、なんかそれぞれで、なんかどういうところが特にさっき言った要素だと重視されてるかな、みたいなのを、簡単にお話しできればなと思います。最初のこの潜在とか結託のところは、やっぱりなんか今後人を増やしていくっていうところが大事になるので、なんかこれ結構頑張りすぎちゃうじゃないですけど、結構コストが高い運営をしちゃってると、なんか立ち上げたはいいんだけどすぐなくなるとか、結構あるあるだなと思ってて、なんで、継続的な発展を前提とした運営、さっき言ったやつとか、あと文化みたいなところは、やっぱり少人数のところから育成されていくみたいなのがあると思うので、思いやりのところみたいなのも、初期の方から特に重視した方がいいのかなと思ってます。で、最後にこの維持とか向上の時は逆にそれ以外と、あと継続的なその運営みたいなところはずっと大事になってくるので、ここでも言えるのかなとは思ってるんですけど、結構いろいろなメンバーが入ってくるみたいな話とか、あとはその参加者とか、あと運営のその最初に立ち上げてる人たちの熱が冷めやすい時期でもあるので、なんかそういう冷めたとしても貢献できるような、さっき言った足したようなコンテキストとの結合させる仕組みだったりとか、あとちょっと間が空いたとしてもすぐ戻ってこれたりするような学びや体験のシェアみたいなのが、この時期は結構大事に得意になってくるのかなというふうに思ってます。で、そうですね。時間もいい感じなんで、まとめなんですけど、今日最初にコミュニティが生み出す価値の話をして、知識の発達とかエネルギーの浸透みたいなところをお話ししました。で、そういう価値を生み出すコミュニティの要素っていうのを説明して、で、最後にコミュニティのきつら匂いと、あとコミュニティのそれぞれの段階でどういうところを注目するといいのかみたいな話をしていきました。で、なんか自分自身最初に言ったんですけど、コミュニティがすごい大好きで、この場もなんですごい大好きなんですけど、もし皆さんの中でなんかそういうコミュニティを運営されているとかがあれば、なんかぜひ教えてもらいたいなっていう、純粋になんかそこにもしかしたら行ったことあるかもしれないですけど、行きたいなっていう思いがあるのと、なんかそういう社内とかでも、もしあれば、全然リターンとかなくできたら趣味とかの範囲で行きたいなっていうふうにも思っているので、ぜひ教えてくださいっていうお願いと、あとこの後自分現地に行くんですけど、なんかいろいろなコミュニティの話とか聞くの大好きなので、もし今日の発表のフィードバックとかでももちろん構わないんですけど、そういうコミュニティの話をする機会がこの後あればなというふうに思ってます。はい、以上です。よろしくお願いします。ありがとうございました。
秋山さん、ありがとうございました。
よかった。はい、ありがとうございました。ちょっとだけドキドキしちゃいました。
ありました。5分、25分から次のセッションが始まります。
はい、ありがとうございました。なんか皆さんもじゃあ、なんかあれば、ちょっと時間がギリギリというか20分になっちゃったんですけど、この後現地に4時、3時半ぐらいから行ければいいなと思うので、ぜひいろいろコメント聞けるとありがたいです。ありがとうございました。
はい、ありがとうございました。
共有
スクリーン見えますか？大丈夫ですか？
見えてます。
いつでも大丈夫です。今から大丈夫ですか？
OK。You start.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming today. So I will be presenting Transforming Your Tech Talk, how to share technical information with all audiences. ちょっとだけ日本語でご紹介します。ターゲットという会社にソフトウェア開発のコーチとして働いています。My job is to help grow the careers of engineers through training, facilitation, and introduction of new technologies and ways of working. So where am I? I'm actually in the middle of America right now, in the north, in a state called Minnesota. We are famous for lakes. We have about 10,000 lakes in our state. But right now, we are actually more famous for snow because we have over 1 meter of snow on the ground right now. The city I live in is Minneapolis. There's a picture there. So my promise or goal of this session is to provide you with time-tested tips, tricks, and techniques to communicate technical information to an audience of any experience level. I struggled with this early in my career, coming from a place where all employees were technical, came from technical backgrounds. And after leaving that company, I quickly discovered that communicating with non-technical team members took a lot more effort and time than I was expecting. There is certainly nothing easy about explaining complicated technical information in an understandable way. So let's start with a few tips. Our first topic today is how to explain technical concepts using the real world or objects in the real world. Many folks lack the context to understand very technical information directly. and it's easy to rely on jargon or technical terminology to explain technical concepts, but that can leave many audience members confused. So fortunately, there are some tips and tricks that you can use to help make this information more understandable. First, we'll talk about figures of speech. So in English, we can often use analogies and metaphors to help make comparisons between technical concepts and the real world. So analogies describe a likeness or relationship between two objects. So something like monolithic architecture is like a house of cards. It can be built quickly, but it falls apart just as easily. So in reality, monolithic architecture is not literally a house of cards, right? It's infrastructure, but they're both easy to build and also easy to break. Metaphors are slightly different in that they describe an object or action in a way that isn't literally true, but can help explain an idea. So for example, software engineers have this concept of something called spaghetti code, where basically there's a lot of logic that kind of jumps from place to place in code that's very, very difficult to read. And so that's not made up out of literal noodles, right? It's not literally pasta, it's computer code, but it's very difficult to untangle. So just like trying to separate a noodle from a bowl of pasta, it's difficult to break down the logic in spaghetti code. One thing to be a little bit cautious of when using analogies and metaphors is pop culture references. So things like movies, music, games, or sports may not be understood by everyone on more diverse teams. So for example, my team at work, my team of coaches are all sports fans, and they love using sports analogies to explain things. Unfortunately, I'm more of an esports person, more of a video game fan than an American football fan. So a lot of their analogies don't work for me. Also, language and cultural backgrounds can cause different reactions to what speakers may interpret as a well-understood idea. So let's take a well-known English idiom that you may or may not have heard before. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Does anyone have a guess as what the corresponding Japanese kotowaza for this common English idiom would be? Go ahead and type it into the Room B Slack, or excuse me, Discord if you're interested in responding. Give a second here. So it's actually hara hachibun mei ni sha irasu. But context is very important here. So in English, the idiom implies that if you eat a certain food, in this case, an apple, you can be healthier. You wouldn't need to go to the doctor. But the Japanese kotowaza focuses less on what you eat and more on how much you eat. So this can change the way that explanations for ideas are interpreted. So this can be very, very tricky. So when you're using proverbs or kotowaza to explain ideas, you have to be conscious of the cultural background of your audience. And here's just a summary of how to use analogies and metaphors that can be powerful tools to explain technical concepts. Watch out for pop culture or sports references, and especially with proverbs. Moving on to our second topic of the day, how to make your technical presentations more effective. I'm going to be talking about when to show your code as part of a presentation and when not to show your code, as well as how to make your audience remember more of your content. First is a very, very important idea, and hopefully I can explain this well. Your code does not speak for itself. And what I mean by that is engineers often think that code speaks for itself because it describes the solution to a problem. But the code can only give you the solution itself. What it lacks is all of the ideas and all of the concepts behind why particular decisions were made. And that why is very important to understanding code in many cases. Most of your audience is not going to have the context that you do as the author of a software program. So why shouldn't you show code during a presentation? The first reason is your audience is going to try to read that code. And if they're reading your code, they aren't listening to your talk. Code on the screen has the exact same problem that we see with slides that have a ton of text on them. And that is that audiences can read, they can listen, but they can't do both at the same time. So you're going to lose a bit of your effectiveness as a speaker if all of your audience is reading your code. Secondly, code is very contextual. I mentioned this on the previous slide. You're not going to be able to show the whole program, and the parts of the program that are not on the screen may limit the context that the audience has about the problem. The code cannot tell you the why, only what decision was made. Finally, well, not finally, but ask yourself, what does showing your code do for the audience? If your audience is made up of leadership, is the code even worth showing? Is it going to be beneficial to them? Is it relevant for the audience? In terms of technical audiences, so if you're presenting to a lot of engineers, or you're doing a code walkthrough or a code review, use your discretion to what kind of code you want to show to your audience. What will showing the code accomplish in terms of audience understanding? Let's take a simple example here. Marubatsu game. So in America, this is called tic-tac-toe, and it is one of my 5-year-old son's favorite games. Most people know this game. It's played on a 3x3 grid. One player is Maru, one player is Batsu, and they take turns placing symbols on the grid. The goal is to line up 3, either vertically, horizontally, or diagonally. So, say I'm giving a presentation to a mixed audience on how to develop an AI to play this game. I could very easily throw up some code for figuring out the next move to make using an algorithm that analyzes all possible choices and chooses the best one. Unfortunately, note that this is only a small part of the code is shown, and we still lack the context around the entire program itself. So what does this exactly get us? If instead we take a look at this animation, so this animation is showing the code running. The tree represents all possible moves for the game, while the numbers represent outcomes for a particular move. A -1, a -1, means the current player will lose the game if the move is made. 0 means there will be a tie, and a 1 means the current player will win. Circular nodes, so circles on the tree, will select the largest value of all their children, and they represent the current player's possible moves, whereas square nodes will select the smallest value because they represent the opponent's moves. So utilizing these rules, we're trying to find a path that leads to a 1, a win, at the top level, which we see there with the tree being fully green. So it's difficult to explain quickly, but this is a whole lot easier to visualize than reading the code on the left side of the screen. Humans are visual creatures, and our memory is triggered more often by images than text. So studies have shown that audiences who attend a presentation that contains mostly text slides only recall about 10% of the information 3 days later. We have an idiom in English, a picture is worth 1,000 words, and science agrees with us. Recallability of audiences jumps from 10% to 65% when images are frequently used to help explain ideas during presentations. Images are incredibly powerful tools to help audiences understand and recall. A brief summary involving your code doesn't speak for itself. Animations can lead to better understanding and recall, and data backs up that information. Now, for our final topic of the day, storytelling, captivating your audience with the power of data. I'm going to discuss not only why data is powerful, but how the same data can be used to tell many different stories to your audience. Why do we tell stories? Humans are storytellers by nature. It's how our brains are wired. Everything from our myths and legends to lessons that we teach our children are all in the form of stories. We use stories to inform, persuade, entertain, and inspire. Let's use our last example of the day. This is a graph showing the number of calories in a Kentucky chicken wrap and comparing that number against some other food from other restaurants. But this graph doesn't give us a lot of information. First of all, the horizontal axis of the graph starts at 590, not 0. And secondly, the other restaurants, the information about the other restaurants is not clear. Which food items are being compared against the KFC crispy chicken twister shown here? We don't know. However, this graph does contain enough data to tell several different stories to our audience, depending on what our goal happens to be. For example, say we are the pizza restaurant. If we happen to be the pizza restaurant and want to convince potential customers that our food is healthier than anyone else's, we can display the data on the graph shown here, with the smallest value on the vertical axis shown to be 575. And at a quick glance, you can see that compared to popular dishes from other restaurants, we have a lower calorie count. The second story is a little bit different. Say we're a nutritionist trying to counsel a client on improving their nutrition. They may show the same set of data in a completely different way, starting the vertical axis at 0 and stopping at 600. There we go. What does this story communicate? All the options on the graph are not good for your health. The pizza isn't that great of a choice after all. And our last example, a hungry high school student trying to convince their health-conscious parents to go out for dinner, and they would be telling a completely different story. They might keep the vertical axis starting at 0, but would scale the maximum value upwards to minimize visual differences in calorie values. So all the options are the same, right? And none are that bad for you when you factor in the total number of calories most folks eat in a day. And I should note that in America, this value is 2,000. I'm not sure what it is in Japan. We can probably do with less here in America. So, but anyway, as you can see, the same data can show a lot of different conclusions. So in summary, we tell stories to inform, persuade, entertain, and inspire. Your data has many stories to tell. Storytelling with data is incredibly powerful, and how you use that power ethically is to persuade an audience is up to you. And that is all I have for today. So I hope this was helpful in terms of some tips, tricks, and techniques to approach showing technical information to different types of audiences in different ways. If you ever have any questions, please reach out to me. Nihongo demo, eigo demo daijoubu desu yo. Either is fine. Thank you so much, Scrum Gathering Tokyo. It's been a pleasure as always. Thank you.
Thank you, Migus.
15分の休憩を挟みまして、次のセッションは2時からになります。
すみません。通訳の方、聞こえてますか？ テストテストit's okay? 皆さん聞こえますかねOK です。OK です。カメラ Okay, so I confirm it. Mic off. Mic off, yes. Mic off, please. And it is perfect. Just a moment, please. ここに出すのってなんか
声を出せば、
さっきね、声出したんですよ。
これは自分自身なので、ね、
自分自身で、画面でも。いや、でも、うん。かぶっちゃうですよね。誰が選ばれるのかって。
選ばれるんですけど、他の人にとっては。これは自分自身なので、
単に今、音声って英語を選んでるんですよ。オリジナルに変えれば、オリジナルなんです。でも、弁用で。
通訳の人が入ってたら、英語にしたり。
そう、さっきね、英語にするなと思って、それ買ってんのかなと思って、買ってなかったです。じゃあ、英語にすると必要とか。スポットライト。すごい。メインオーディオを。だから質問タイムになった時だって、あれか。でもこれ多分日本語で出るから、みんな、ズームを通して、英語を選んでおくと、選んでおけば、英語が流れて、英語の人で、それでやってる。そしたら、多分通訳さんが英語で流すってしたら、ここが流れる。そうですね。それを通訳さんにどう伝えるか、今そこで、通訳さんに英語で。
はい、通訳です。
すみません、通訳さん、今ここ聞こえてるのかな。すみません、今、英語のチャンネルで通訳さんお話ししていただきましたか。
今はメインでまだ同時通訳セットされていないので。
なるほど。じゃあ、で時間になったらセットいただける感じですかね。
そうではなくて、そちらの方でセットいただきたいんですけども、こちらでやるの、やり方も知らないというのが正直なところなんですけど。こちらでホストの方が。
セスさん、松本です。
どうもどうも。
今、セスさん、ズームどこの部屋入られてるんですか？
見えないですか？そちらに同じ部屋っていうか、どう言ったらいいんでしょう。オンラインです。
いらっしゃいますね。でも、そしたら、ホストにならないとなる。ホストはどう？
iPad 側だとできないかもしれない。あなたたちがあるかも。
ちょうどホストにいまして、これ今。通訳開始とかってあるんですか？
これじゃない。
これじゃない。
ちょっと。
すみません、ちょっと今設定できる、やつで、iPad だとちょっと設定難しいみたいなんで、ちょっと設定の時間を少々いただければと思います。大丈夫じゃない。アナウンスだけしただけです。
はい。
今、ポストを映しました。通訳さん確認します。通訳さん、今いかがでしょうか？大丈夫です。
セッサン松本です。今、インタープリテーションモードで、セッサンインタープリターに設定したんですけど、確認お願いします。今、会場日本語、通訳で日本語音声にして出力して終えて。はい。
会場は英語でやります。
会場は
日本語選んで。もう一回お願いします。はい、日本語チャンネルで聞こえます。
すみません、松本です。
英語です。オリジナルです。はい。
じゃあちょっと一旦これでやってみましょう。後で QA の時にまたちょっと設定見るかもしれないですが、一旦セッションを進めたいと思います。よろしくお願いします。
ありがとうございます。お願いします。Let's start. So we have 45 minutes.
Okay, you can speak.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Okay. So let me briefly introduce myself. And 今私は日本に住んでいます。文京区の明方に住んでいます。And I moved to Tokyo in August. And before Tokyo, I live in Hong Kong, Shanghai, and my hometown, Qingdao. So I teach Scrum, I teach CSM and CSPO. I'm a Scrum trainer. Also, I'm a coach certified coach. And in Asia Pacific countries, I teach courses. And also you can see another part of my life is I'm a driver. I drive a company. I drive a real business. And from here, actually, I provide you some gift for my session. And if you use this coupon code, you can get discount when you next time when you book ticket from US, Europe, and train ticket and bus ticket. So this is my product. I'm the developer. So if you had any bugs, please talk to me and I will fix it. But not these 3 days. So this is a coupon code. I'll share with you coupon code later also. But today I'm talking about the coaching journey. It's a journey working with in 2015. I working with actually is GE Healthcare. Working with the company. They are building X-ray machine. This is not the software team. It's a kind of the real thing, real big product, and very traditional industry. I spent 1 year with them, and first you see some comparison between the two phases. The left column is the previous version. I'll share 2 attempts. They try to adopt Agile. The first attempt, they spent 2.5 years, and which is 1.5 year delay. And the second attempt, actually they finished project 1 week in advance. I'll share you detail later. Just give you some, and there are a lot of bugs. And the build reduced from 20 hours to the shortest period is 2.8 seconds. Deploy a build to the real thing, 2.8 seconds. And why they found me the second time, because it was a success for their first attempt from product-wide, but it's a death match. They don't want to do it anymore. So they try to ask for help. So that's I will share you the story or the journey in their 3-year journey. They are building this thing, not only the software. This is called C-arm machine. This is their lab. So there are multiple computers, some X-ray, the radiation exposure. So and also this letter from their big boss after their second attempt. Their big boss in Salt Lake City, and this is a wonderful success for them. And actually, after this, they are sharing what they learn and their good practices and experience with teams in Salt Lake City, in India, in China. This team in China. So they are doing a lot of sharing and learn what they did. And actually, they start Agile journey in 2013. At that time, I was a trainer, provided internal training for their company. I'm working with them since 2010. And so they sent 2 people to my CSM course, and they heard of this new word, and I think it's very good for them. When they came back, they start trying Scrum. Even it's not pure Scrum yet, they are trying to do something and experiment. And suddenly they heard a lot of word, and they adopt a lot of at that time called fancy word Agile adoption. So a lot of fancy word in this conference. You also see this word. And there's one thing they learned from my course, the first course, and the team should be small. And one key thing, and they think the original team before the attempt was too big. They try to split the different color. That's their different skill sets. So they try to split into smaller team, but still smaller component team. And so different color are already the color code. So you see where these components are, roughly. So they tried, but there's a challenge. The challenge, imagine how can you, for the purple one, how to write a user story for this team. This thing, who should be the user of this thing? The doctor, right? And the first team should be, the story should be, have more light or X-ray, but do doctor care about X-ray? Don't care, right? But at that time, they have to have kind of multiple product owner or multiple product backlog because their team is component based. And there are a lot of dependencies. Without light, how can you take exposure? Without the X-ray, how can you convert that to image? So there are dependencies across teams, and they have to hand off a lot of works. And everything needs to be ready to have the integration. Here, so far, it's only software team. I'm not talking about mechanical engineer and electronic engineer. We'll talk about this later. So and Agile, they have a big boss, and it's very command control, which means in the meeting, no one dare to speak because only the boss, blah, blah. So and everything assigned, every assigned work, and a lot of bugs, certainly because the integration is very late. So that's a problem. So after the death match, actually their boss, Mr. Gao, the surname of their boss is Gao, G-A-O, and Mr. Gao was in hospital for a few weeks. So he don't want to experience this anymore. So he tried to see what's anything wrong. And I think because at the beginning they sent to my course, and maybe they need to involve me to fix the problem. Sorry. So they talk to me and they say, what anything wrong, or is there anything we can do, or not good enough? That's we have the second attempt, which is in start from January 2015. So I'm going to cover the second attempt. So the first we think about how to form the they have the component team, and first we need to think about how to form the real feature teams, and how to let the team to manage themselves, and what are the real user story for X-ray. So I think about it's very actually it's not fancy yet, but very basic Scrum or Agile practices, but they need to do it really well and implement or understand these practices before they going further. So the first at the lift off, we want to focus on the very basic first. And actually we share with them. So it started in January 2015, and in 2014 December we were invited to their site to see what's going on, because as a doctor, as a coach, you need to interview or take a look at their team, what's going on, and to see what can you do for them. So we've been there in December 2014 and spent 1 week there talking to their different roles and their artifact documents. So we found some problem. The problem I listed in this slide. So this is a problem we identified and we need to fix in the change at the beginning maybe. So, but there's something I noticed because I've been working with organizations for many organizations. Some teams start their agile journey from processes. Processes with mean Scrum or XP or kind of 360-degree review. These kind of practices. But in my experience, if you start from this process and tools, mostly you will hit a wall of structure, because you still belong to one department and report to some boss, but the boss is not your product. No, you're not your product owner maybe. So there may be problem, and they actually also relate to your performance review. Your performance reviewed by your functional manager. He doesn't care much about your business goal. So these are the structure issue. So, and luckily, you know, Mr. Gao is a big boss of the product. So our proposal is, you know, but it's still, they start planning the second product, second version. And they make a commitment. They need to release this product in November 2015. Their release means release to FDA, you know, FDA, Federal Drug and Food Administration, because this thing need to be reviewed by those departments of government. So they need to review and they need to release. They have to release. They already and they need to commit. But I say, you know, with this way, you will experience similar that much. And my proposal is also inside there is a culture. It's about culture change, how to collaborate, you know, how to encourage cross-learning. So my proposal is there are two choices. One is start from process. So just add some automation or continuous integration, maybe some kind of collaboration. But I think our proposal is to really change from structure, because this way they can have. But you know, in that case, Mr. Gao already made a commitment for the boss to release to FDA in November, and they have to release, and they have to, you know, have the change to Agile. So it's a big risky for him. So I told Mr. Gao, so I told him, I give you 3 days. And here is a bottleneck and the dependencies here. I noticed the component team is not working well. It's very hard to adopt Agile, really good practices. So, but you have a challenge. So I give you 3 days. Please talk to your boss in Salt Lake City. Talk to your key team members in Beijing, talk to your stakeholders, and see whether you want to change from inside or do something only on the surface level. Because basically it's also a kind of test for his commitment for the change. So after 3 days, he gave me a call and said, let's do it a crazy way. So he took the risk, and certainly he informed all the stakeholders. So actually, you know, this very, you know, very good timing to talking about this, because you know this Monday we have the holiday coming of 8 days. So we have the ceremony. So actually here we call a kind of workshop. It's a half-day workshop to form teams. But you know, Mr. Gao is very command control. But this time we want to delegate the responsibility to design the end-to-end team on their own. And the picture, the photo is the agenda of their workshop. I'll go to detail later, some detail. Because there are too much content, so maybe I'll skip some. And if you are interested, you can come to me later. I'll be here till next day, tomorrow. So another is, you know, we want to send out some signal of change. You know, before the Scrum Master was assigned, and also the team member was assigned by the big boss and the Scrum Master. Suddenly, the previous Scrum Master was a key team member. So it is the wrong signal, because you know, for it's a servant leader. Scrum Master should be the first servant, but how can the servant choose the boss? So we want to convert or reverse this, and so that we should do a kind of Scrum Master election. So the half day. So we have at that time there are around 40 people, and there are 9 of them. They said because they need to, all candidates, they need to prepare 2 minutes speech for how to be a good Scrum Master, how to serve the team. And actually, there's one guy who speaks 1 minute English, 1 minute Chinese. So gives a talk. Here is another Scrum Master, and and in the end, the team will choose who should be their Scrum Master. And next, but before choosing their Scrum Master, next should be deciding which team they should be in. they should form? First, they need to form the teams. And what we do is we ask the team to decide what criteria you should consider and what skill you should have to contribute or commit to your product because they are building this thing. For example, the team size. The team size we ask about Ms. Gao because Ms. Gao has, we don't know X-ray machine. So we ask Ms. Gao, how can a team do a end-to-end functionality? How many team members should cover all the necessary skills? He said 6 to 8 should be enough. Also, we talk about what experience possible, experience skill they need and the gender. This is a team member proposed the kind of, what they need. Another interesting part is live in suburb. What this means is, you know, their office, their lab is in suburb. So this means each team, they have some team member, they can do the ad hoc support because Beijing is too big. So they have a lot of criteria. And then we ask everyone to write on sticky note, write what skills you can contribute to your team. For example, I'm a C++ expert. I'm an image quality expert. And then everyone at least write 3 or to 20 and they stick on their body or some part of body. And so here are the dot vote of the criteria because there are too many criteria. So we should choose which are important. We identify 20. So we have 20 minutes. And after a room, there are 4 corners. And for each corner, there is a white paper. So they need to, with their skills, with their criteria, they need to find a corner. 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, and they will group on the corner and at the corner and talk about, you know, the composition of the team. And we do a review. That's team sprint review of the team composition design. And this is the review of the second. You know, the review, what is the review? And the team is one team in the one corner and they report to other teams or what our team have this kind of team members. There are several team members. Other team members, you know, even other people, they grab, you know, red sticky notes. And everyone write, other people write on, what do they write on red sticky notes? Thank you. Bug. What kind of bug? For example, in this team, there's no girl. Or the C++ skill is not good enough. These are the bugs. And then they report bugs. You see a lot of bugs on the top. And then they spend another 20 minutes fix the bug. Then we have the team. And after this, each team, they need to talk about their team agreement, alignment. I was good faster. And next, we form the form feature team, but we still need to pay attention to the skills, C++, image, quality, for example, mechanical engineer, for example. So we talk about what are the necessary skill we need or component we have. And we form virtual teams. There are a lot of virtual teams. And so they talk about agreement, what the ceremonies of what the practices they need to standard for each component. And each component, each virtual team, they have a champion, a lead who own this area. So there are some examples of. And after this, after the ceremony, we form the feature team. And interestingly, before there was 6 product owner, one big product owner and multiple, you know, component product owner and multiple product backlog. And after this, we only have 1 product owner and 2 Scrum Master. And you can take on the bottom, there is one example story, user story. This is a real user story. I think a doctor can understand what it means. And the team can really focus on business. and each team can do end-to-end functionality. And there's no much bottleneck now. And we only have one single product owner who focus on the functionality of the X-ray only. And we got a chance to involve stakeholders, the real doctors. Here is a meeting of what because there are multiple teams. So here is the agenda. They have 2-week sprint. So here is the agenda of the how their 2 weeks look like. And there are 2 different colors. Blue means blue one is a joint meeting. Joint meeting, I'll show you a video later, means all the teams in one room. They have the meetings focused on joint refinement or sprint planning. And green one is the standalone. Each team have their own meeting. So they have, this is the meetings. I'll show you some. So they have the daily scrum of Scrum. So at the beginning, in the morning, first they have a team's daily Scrum. And after this 15 minutes, and they send an ambassador. Sometimes they choose the one who speak least in the meeting room or in the daily Scrum. Or sometimes they just throw a dice to decide who should go. I was kidding, but each team have their own way to choosing who should represent their team in the daily SOS, Scrum of Scrum. So they have the joint retrospective, but this all mostly lasts after the team retrospective because some are organization level issue or cross team dependencies. So they need to talk about this. So this is a joint retrospective. Now we have formed a real team, and they need to design or create a story together. And they need to commit and sign up tasks or stories. And also we do mob programming and pair programming. Mob programming means all teams, each week they spend 2 hours or 4 hours choosing 2 afternoon or 1 afternoon. All team working on one story to encourage cross-learning. So after liftoff, we have the feature team. And we have the set up the basics for the Scrum. And also we have the proper ceremony, facilitate meetings. We have the roles, the new roles, and we help them prepare or define the artifacts. So this is what the first quarter from to April, from January to March, April. This is the first quarter. And next challenge is cross-team challenges and cross-role, because before, the liftoff is only software. And now, at the beginning, after the mechanical engineer, they said, we only give you 2 builds. It should be enough, we don't need to change it or almost done. So, but in the end, they found 60% of their design had to be changed. So the second quarter, we focus on how to involve a mechanical engineer, electronic engineer, and the image quality expert, and the real, not stakeholder. They are also part of product. They are also product designer, so developer. But the challenge is we focus on how to resolve these issues, because there are so many issues need to be resolved in the joint retrospective. So first we focus on one stream development. Before every team has their own branch and multiple branch. It's a nightmare to merge. And we help them to merge into one stream, one branch development. A lot of work. Another is, before it's an X-ray machine, they need to create, I'm not sure, in Japan we found this, the CD, the CD thing, here I found, it's hard to find from, I cannot find it in Hong Kong now. And the actual machine, they need to burn this to deploy. They need to burn this and then bring to the lab, and they need to wear this kind of thing and wear special shoes, and then they need to install on the machine. And it took 20 hours. And it takes too long, so no one want to change, no one want to merge. And so another bottleneck, you need to help them, shorten the build process or duration. But that's not part of coaching, because as a coach at the time, our team, there are five coaches, and we need to really get into their work to help them to, certainly you can do some reflection, but if they're in their knowledge or experience, maybe they can only reduce from 20 hours to 15 hours. Can they imagine from 20 hours to 2.8 seconds? That's beyond their imagination. So our team involved into this and reduced to 2.8 seconds. Also refactor their Jenkins build and make a lot of automation. Wrote a lot of script. And also now we start really involve the EE, ME engineers in their sprint, because we request a lot of change to them, and since they didn't support before, so here is their build administrators paired with my previous coworker. So they are the two guy and the lady to shorten the build from 20 hours to 2.8 seconds. So write a lot of script and to automate all the process. The graph look like this, and also after this, it took us 20 coaching days to finish this. And after this, this diagram of everyone makes the change, and their SCM Jenkins will monitor the change and deploy to X3 to bypass the CD burning process. So this encouraging SIGAV signal, I encourage everyone to commit more often, to integrate more often, and to also it got chance to do small stories incrementally. Also, we have the joint refinement meeting. And before I talk about, we involve stakeholders, and here in refinement meeting we have stakeholders. You see this guy I show you. These are the photo of the joint meeting. This is the sprint planning. Here is a video. So this guy actually is the leftmost guy is an expert. He's a mechanical engineer, and the team is asking detailed requirement of, actually their requirement is not from their product owner. The team talk to stakeholder directly, and their product owner, I call it police officer, also PO, right? My definition of PO is product owner. PO is a police officer. Police officer is the one who say yes and no. And also PO is a problem owner. Understand what customer problem is and what doctor's problem. So PO is a problem owner, PO police officer. So even though they talk to stakeholder directly, they still need to convince police officer to say, oh, this is important, this should be in the build in next. So I'll share some videos. So here is their joint meeting. So here in the window is their PO. So it's a parallel meeting. And this guy is Mr. Gao, their big boss. And this is their PO. This is the image expert. So after this, and they are now they involve the EE and ME expert or team member in designer in their team, and they move their workspace to the lab. And the lab. And they invite stakeholders to do the review. Because now they can do build very often. So they involve the real domain expert or stakeholder in their review. I'll show you detail later. And they use exploring testing in their review to provide elicit more feedback. Because they have multiple doctors or stakeholders, and everyone focuses on different area. For example, this doctor focuses on imaging quality, and this stakeholder is on starting machine or shut down machine. And this guy, a legal guy, or because they need to think, there is a one test case, it cannot, there is a accumulated duration for taking shot because it's for operation. In Brazil, there is a law, you cannot have, more than 10 seconds. If more than 10 seconds, you need to shut down the machine because the patient will die. So different stakeholders, different kind of focus areas. And so we facilitate the session. At the beginning, we do a kind of introduction or test to validate each feature. And then we have the parallel session. Parallel session is 30 minutes. So every stakeholder go to different machine. They are rich, each of these is 1 million Chinese RMB, 1 million. So each machine have they call the bay. Different bay have different focus. And they do exploratory testing. And we provide them a sheet, forms, and they need to form. And each team member, and I encourage the team member, when the doctor go to the bay, and the team member and the tester should shut up. Why? Because they are the expert, they should know what to do. And every other team member using their cell phone to take photo or video and to see what doctor is doing. And then they fill the forms. They review the video and they fill what the doctor did. Anything make doctor puzzle. Anything we didn't know before. And so every time, every sprint, they will have more stories. But that's the nature of software development, right? So this is reviews. So after this, the second phase, we adopt a 10-minute build this kind of focus on the impediment or technical impediment, and also working on the involve more stakeholders. The third quarter, we focus on the individual practices. Really, I just show you the mobile programming part, pair programming through our developer. Sometimes I pair with them, do the testing, do the coding, or write automation, this kind of work. So a lot, focus a lot on refactoring. So help them do a lot of this. So, and we are very useful to adopt a spec by example. Personally, I like it very much. So also a collaboration tool also is very useful for us to communicate and to validate what's going on. So we adopt a lot of practices on individual level or technical, the third quarter. So Scrum, first Scrum and team, basically. And second phase of working on the organization level or the dependencies across roles, and also the build part. Engineering third quarter. And the fourth quarter, because they are going to release to FDA, it's very risky to release a bug, if there's one death, their factory will be shut down. It's very risky for them. So they care about quality very much. And actually before that, they adopt exploratory testing, their exploratory testing already. But I got one chance. So actually in June later, So I got one chance because I think now they need to focus on quality. Now the feature is mostly ready, and we need to focus on quality, improve the quality, and test what's anything wrong, fix the broken. But they don't have good practice or tools to help them identify what's going on and how to do root cause analysis. So I found one opportunity is when they need to do a regression test. They spend 2 weeks on 30 plus people, spend 2 weeks, and they only found 2 bugs. So I talked to Mr. Gao. I proposed. I said, Mr. Gao, maybe I can introduce use some facilitate a workshop, and it's only 40 minutes. I only need 16 people, and I want to help you find some bugs. You know why I say 40 minutes? Because the investment is so little, it's nothing, and not many team members. It's a good try anyway. It's a Friday afternoon, so Mr. Gao said, okay, so we will have 16 volunteers. They are interested to learn something or try something. So we form pairs, and I introduce. I'm not an X-ray expert, but I introduce them how to test. So they form pairs. I will use tours, test tours. I introduce the concept of test tours. So they pair up. I will have 4 tours, 4 different kind of tours, and they have 16 people form to 8 pairs. 8 pairs, each 2 pairs sign up 1 tour. And then a tour is a focus of the functionality area. For example, focus on user interface, looking, or the navigation. So after 40 minutes, and they found 11 issues. Not bug yet, because they need to evaluate. Suddenly, they found 11 issues. You know, I live in Hong Kong at that time, and I need to rush to airport. On my way to airport, and Mr. Gao called me, Daniel. You know, before we coach 30 days a quarter. Next quarter, can we have 30 more days? 60 days, because they found something seems they didn't know. Their curiosity. So these are the results. There's a test report after the session. So I involved more equality testing expert in our coaching team, and we do the test case design, involve every team member. Instead by previously the kind of test architect, these kind of people, they write everything and very detailed. So after the journey, we focus on the quality. That's the fourth quarter. Let me show you some result or outcome. Here is you can see the left part is a schedule. And there in March, there is a big drop here. There is why there is a big drop? Because at that time they have a new CEO, and they said, we adopt their agile already. So we need to ship early or ship sooner. So their duration or their scope need to be reduced 30%. So basically the team adjusted this because actually we to solve the problem, we introduced impact mapping, kind of product management tool, impact mapping to them to help them adopt the change. And pretty much after this, you see their work pretty much predictable. And they finished 1 week early. Actually, this is a huge surprise for every modality. There are different products called modality, X-ray and actually what else? Forgot. Anyway. So there are a lot of healthcare machines, different, they call them modality. So the boss of them is a surprise to them because usually it's a half-year delay or many months delay. And the quality. The quality will focus on the work on fixed work and versus new work, which means, before they had more than 1,300 bugs. They did 16 rounds of tests. Every regression, they have more bugs. So they spend a lot of work of time to fixing the bugs. That's called fixed work. And the new work means new development. And for the new release, this is their metrics. And the green one is the bugs fixed. The red one is a bug and new identified. You see, it's pretty much on track. And in the end, their fixed work, the new fixed work versus new work is 40%, from 150 to 40%. It's a huge surprise for everyone. And actually, you see, they released to their team, to a validation team before FDA, and they found 5 bugs only. And in the 5 bugs, there's no software bug. It's compliance bug, requirement of process. So it's a surprise for everyone. And Ms. Gao was challenged, what happened? So there was a meeting, a kind of a big boss meeting, a hearing to see what's going on. And after the meeting, Ms. Gao was promoted. His boss was promoted to and next step, we invite the real doctor in their room to see their comment. Sorry, it's in Chinese. See the feedback test. And the next step, we focus on the team. We left the team and adopt a growing object-oriented software guided by tests. We help the team. This is their new direction. And Mr. Gao was promoted. So we have a new track, new problem to fix. It's another model of X-ray machine. So my reflection, I think it's very important for them to have a kind of failed attempt, because without that, they cannot compare, and it's part of the learning journey. And they are willing to change and challenge. Mr. Gao took the risk, change from inside. Not many boss. They have a commitment, pressure, but they still need. So everyone under this pressure. Also, we do it incrementally and iteratively. So every quarter we have I share with you the 4 phases, the different purpose. But in the quarter, we have a bi-weekly meeting and a monthly meeting to adjust our new opportunity. I'll also show some English. So new opportunity and what issue found and what status, anything changed. For example, we found out new ET tools, exploratory testing tools to adopt. Maybe we should consider find another expert to help team with. And actually, it's not just a start from, we are really 5 coaches really in the team, pair working, a lot of facilitation, and working together with them to fix the build and to shorten the build to 2.8 seconds. So it takes a lot of effort. And the tools, the practice is driven by their problem. The boss said 30% need to be reduced. What can we do? And then we introduce another tool. So here are some reflections of their journey. And there are some coupon code. You can use that to buy railway tickets. That's my product. Any questions?
Can I use this coupon code in Japan? I cannot use it.
This app is for you to overseas travel. Certainly for China people and British people, I encourage them to use this to book Japan.
Yeah.
I'm solving problem for overseas travel. You go to Germany, you go to US, you go to UK, you don't know how to take public transportation, train, bus, that's mine. And using your own language. Nihongo. I have 28 languages. So. Any questions?
質問はありますか Any question? Oh, okay. Just a moment, please.
Thanks very much, Daniel. It was a very inspiring talk. You mentioned that there were also mechanical and electrical engineers, well, clearly involved in the creation of the product. Were they also part of the teams? And if so, how did you deal with the typically longer lead times for mechanical engineering, electrical engineering? It's like a different cycle.
At the beginning, it's very hard. But I'm not a real expert of that. But according to their software developer, they told me. And the electrical engineer, they once they found this kind of they need to integrate more often. They try to create some tool or mocks or simulators to make it integration a little bit shorter or smoother.
Yeah,
that's what they do.
So,
what happened? I don't know detail, but
more simulation. So more simulation, less in product. Okay.
Yeah. But they're driven by at the beginning they said 2 weeks it's not possible, but
okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. Here is gift for you.
Okay.
So before questioning, we have entered the tea time right now, and the next session will be started at 15:50.
Yeah.
3:15. Yep.
Okay.
Maybe last question.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
After this hour,
Yeah.
We can talk. If you are interested, you can come in this venue. So
yeah. So please go ahead with your question.
Okay. Thank you for the interesting talk.
Thank you.
The current form, your team is so great, but I wonder what was the most difficult part in introducing such agile way into this team as a coach, and how to solve this?
I think the real challenge is to filter out who does care, who really want to change. If Mr. Gao said, I want to do safe way, maybe I will not going to work with him.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. ありがとうございます。
小林さん、テス様ありがとうございました。
Interesting. No. It's part of the journey. It's called Pesameta. Dice, remember the dice? Pesameta. That's what it is. You can go out. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. If you need any help, let me know. Yeah. So you need an extra helper. So you finish. Thank you.
that, if you have a time, so I will take a picture together of our conference board.
Yes.
Second floor.
Okay.
After that, if you have a time. For our memory.そうですね、多分マスク、ダニエルさんはフェイスガードしてたとこあるんで、上にあるかもしれないですね、あれが。
アッキーさん、英語喋れますか？
通訳さんさえなんとかしてれば、ないって日本語で喋れます。最悪というか、それでもいけます。
でも、会場から例えば日本語で質問されたときに、
通訳さんは日本語の英語を聞けるので、声先ほど何とかしてくれる。通訳さんに、会場に日本語通訳が通訳したの音声が流れる人が、他の先生さっき衝撃的だったんですけど、会場は英語で喋ります。で、ズームの中で通訳さんが日本語に翻訳したのを、ズームの日本語チャンネルにだけ流します。で、会場には、ここで喋って英語音声。ここで、
日本語で質問されたやつを通訳さんが英語に翻訳したとしても、それをスピーカーが聞く手段がないんです。
出てくる音声が、なんていうんですか、同じ感覚で自分で入ってやっちゃうので。
じゃあそこは英語が流れてくる。
今流れてきます。
英語の、今ここ、通訳のチャンネルは英語のチャンネル。で、ここに向けて通訳さんが喋ると。
なるほど。
参加者としては喋る皆さん。
これが日本語で喋ると、これが日本語でマイク使って喋ると、英語チャンネルで日本語を喋る。その先には通訳さん。通訳さん、英語チャンネルの方に返答してくれれば会場です。
ややこしい。ややこしいけど、すごい。
よろしくお願いします。
よろしくお願いします。日本語がお上手ですね。
その一単語で分かった。
一言で分かったんだ。
嬉しい。
Wi-Fi のパスワード、SSID とパスワードです。
SSID? OK。彼のラップトップで。ですから。
全部